After news of his passing became public, many fans expressed the same feeling. We had no idea. And perhaps that's one of the biggest reminders fame gives us. We often see performance, but never the private struggle. But Alexx's story is only one part of a much bigger picture, because not every actor disappears for the same reason. Let's look at another example. Genevieve Nnaji, one of Africa's most celebrated actresses, a global ambassador for Nollywood, and someone whose career helped introduce African cinema to new audience. There have been periods when she stepped away from the spotlight. Immediately, rumors began. Is she retiring? Is she done with acting? What's happening? But perhaps the better question is not, why isn't she everywhere? It's, should every celebrity always be everywhere? Sometimes privacy is healthy, rest is healthy. Stepping away can also be a career decision. Then there's Emeka Ike. For years, he was one of Nollywood's biggest names. Then he became far less visible, time away from the industry, and eventually a return that reminded many fans why they admired him in the first place. The story teaches us something important. A career pause does not always mean the story is over. Sometimes it's simply the beginning of a new chapter. Now I want to ask you something. Has there ever been a Nollywood actor you genuinely thought had retired, only to see them return years later? Tell me in the comments, because I'll be reading every comment. But career breaks are not always voluntary. Sometimes life makes the decision for you. There are moments when disappearing is not a career decision. It isn't about fame. It isn't about money. It isn't even about the industry. It's about life. Over the years, Nollywood has seen several talented actors face serious health challenges. And those moments remind us that celebrities are human beings before they are public figures. Clem Ohameze is one example. For many years, he was one of Nollywood's most recognizable faces. Whether he played a king, a businessman, or a father figure, he brought a unique presence to the screen. But after facing major health challenges, his career understandably slowed down. Instead of discussing his performances, fans began praying for his recovery. And that tells us something beautiful. Sometimes the audience does not just love the actor, they genuinely care about the person. Then there was Ernest Asuzu, a gifted actor, a familiar face in many Nollywood classics. But later in life, he publicly struggled with health and financial difficulties. Many people who grew up watching him were shocked, because on television he always looked larger than life. His journey became a reminder that applause does not always protect people from personal hardship. And perhaps we should remember our stars not only when they are trending, but also when they are quietly fighting battles. Another name that sparked conversation in recent years is Anuku. Videos circulated online, leading many people to speculate about his well-being. Some reports were later clarified, but the conversations revealed something interesting. People who cared still remembered him. They still wanted to know how he was doing. And maybe that's the true power of great acting. You can disappear from the screen, but never disappear from the people's memories. But here's something I find fascinating. Not every actor disappears because of health. Some disappear because the industry itself changes. Nollywood today is very different from the Nollywood of 20 years ago. The way films are produced has changed. The cameras have changed. The audience have changed. The business has changed. And naturally, the kinds of actors producers are looking for have also changed. Sometimes an actor becomes strongly associated with the one type of character. For example, the villain, the comic relief, the wealthy businessman. the strict father, the traditional ruler. That's called typecasting. And while it can make an actor famous, it can also become limiting, because audience begin expecting only one version of that performer. At the same time, a new generation enters the industry. Fresh faces, different acting styles, different social media influence, different audience, and suddenly competition becomes even stronger. But here's the important part. This does not erase the contribution of the actors who came before. It simply reminds us that every generation writes a new chapter. Now, I'd love to hear your opinion. Which veteran Nollywood actor or actress do you believe deserves a major comeback? Not just one name, and tell us why. I genuinely can't wait to read your answers. But despite all these challenges, some actors disappear, only to return stronger than ever. And I think that's one of Nollywood's most inspiring stories. I've always believed one movie can change everything. One performance can introduce an actor to a completely new generation. We've seen actors return after years away and remind audience why they became stars in the first place. Experience does not disappear. Talent does not disappear. Sometimes it simply waits for the right opportunity. And perhaps that's why Nollywood remains exciting, because every year someone returns, someone surprises us, someone reminds us why we fell in love with African storytelling. So, why do some Nollywood actors suddenly disappear? I don't think there's one answer. Sometimes it's health. Sometimes it's personal decisions. Sometimes it's family. Sometimes it's relocating abroad. Sometimes it's business. And sometimes it's the changing demand of the industry. And sometimes it's simply taking a well-deserved break. But one thing is certain, fame is only one chapter of a person's life. There's always another story beyond what we see on our screens. And maybe the next time one of our favorite actors disappears, our first reaction should not be, what happened to them? Perhaps it should be, I hope they are doing well. Because behind every famous face is a real human being. So I'll leave you with 3 questions. Which Nollywood actor do you miss the most? Which actor deserves a major comeback? And if you could bring back one legendary Nollywood star for one unforgettable movie, who would you choose? So I'll be in the comments reading every response. While researching this documentary, I discovered another fascinating pattern in Nollywood. It explains why some actors become global stars, while others, despite incredible talents, never quite reach the same level of international recognition. And honestly, it completely changed how I look at success in the film industry. So, if you enjoy thoughtful conversations about African films, filmmaking, celebrities, and the future of entertainment, you are in the right place. Subscribe to Pops TV so you don't miss any episode of the PopsVibezShow Show. Like this video if you enjoyed it. Share it with someone who grew up watching Nollywood. And I'm Pops, and this is me signing out. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next documentary. Everyone thinks the polygamist is about one man with multiple wives. I don't. I think it's about something much more dangerous. What happens when people keep making excuses for the person who is hurting them? By the end of this video, I want to ask you one question, and depending on your answer, you may never see Jonasi the same way again. Was Jonasi really the villain, or did everyone help create one? Every year, African television gives us relationship dramas, some trend for a few days, then disappear. But the polygamists refused to disappear. Weeks after people finished watching, they were still debating, still defending characters, still arguing online. Why? Because this isn't just a story about marriage. It's about family, it's about power, it's about loyalty, it's about silence, it's about forgiveness, and the difficult choices people make when love and responsibilities collide. That's why viewers across Nigeria, South Africa, Kenya, Ghana, Zimbabwe, and beyond found something familiar in this fictional world. The names may be different, the homes may look different, but the emotions feel surprisingly real. Another reason this series resonates is because of the people behind it. The creators did not build perfect heroes, they built believable people. Every major character has moments that earn your sympathy and moments that leave you frustrated. That's not bad writing, that's honest storytelling. And when characters feel like real people, the conversations continue long after the credits roll. But here's what fascinated me most. It was not the arguments. It wasn't the betrayals. It was not even the marriages. It was one decision Jonasi keeps making that quietly destroys every relationship around him. Let's talk about that. At first glance, Jonasi seems like the man who has everything. Success, influence, respect, a beautiful family. But appearance can be deceptive. Because the real conflict in the polygamist isn't created by one explosive moment. It's created by a pattern. Jonasi does not just make one bad decision. He makes small compromises again and again and again. Each one feels manageable. Each one seems temporary. Until the weight of those decisions becomes impossible to carry. One of the strongest ideas in this series is that trust rarely disappears overnight. It erodes. A broken promises here, an avoided conversation there, another secret, another excuse, another delay. By themselves, they may seem small. Together, they become the foundation of a broken relationship. That's what makes Jonasi such an interesting character. Not because viewers agree with him, but because many of us have seen what happens when difficult conversations are postponed instead of confronted. Here is something I kept thinking while watching. Jonasi does not always lose relationships because he lacks intelligence. He loses them because he overestimates his ability to control the consequences of his own choices. And that's a mistake many people make in real life. But here's the question that changed everything for me. If Jonasi is responsible for his choices, what do we do with the people who kept believing? People who kept hoping and kept giving him another chance? That's where this story becomes far more complicated. Because next, we need to talk about Joyce. And her story may be the emotional arc of the entire series. If Jonasi is the character everyone talks about, Joyce is the character many people quietly become. Not because viewers see themselves in every decision she makes, but because they understand something deeper. Hope. Hope has a strange way of changing our judgment. It convinces us that yesterday's disappointments might become tomorrow's breakthrough. And that's what makes Joyce such an emotional, complex character. She isn't simply deciding whether to stay. She's carrying years of memories, promises, children, family expectations, shared history. Walking away from all of that isn't a simple decision. It's hundreds of painful decisions made one day at a time. That's why I don't think Joy's story should be reduced to one simple question. Why don't you leave? Real life is rarely that simple. Sometimes people stay because they believe love deserves another chance. And sometimes because they are protecting their children. Sometimes because starting over feels more frightening than staying where they are. This series never asks us to celebrate those choices, but it does invite us to understand how difficult they can become. And that's one reason Joyce resonates with so many viewers. Here's something worth thinking about. Strength isn't always loud. Sometimes strength looks like surviving another difficult day while trying to protect everyone else from falling apart. Whether you agree with Joyce or not, that's a reality many families understand. But here's where my opinion changed completely. I stopped asking, what caused this? And I started asking, who allowed it to continue? Because every family has something psychology described as a pattern where difficult conversations are delayed, where uncomfortable truths are ignored, where everyone hopes someone else will solve the problem.